tell me about how you perceived in Finland, right, and the rest of Europe?
Perceived. Things have been going on so hectically that actually we haven't had the time to really speculate what has happened and how does it affect our everyday lives or anything like that, because we've been working all the time constantly, like 2 years in a row or whatever. But it seems that things are going on fairly well, you know. I'm able to pay my own rents and my phone bills, so in that sense it's beautiful.
How would you describe your music? Is it like, would you say it's gothic, would you say it's rock?
I'd say, hopefully it's a unique combination of all of those things that we like, you know. There's a hint of Sisters of Mercy there, and there's also a bit of Neil Young in there, and hopefully loads of things.
Neil Young? Really?
Yeah, sure, I'm a huge fan. So nowadays I actually call it Scandinavian blues. I'd say that fits perfectly what we're doing. It's melancholic in that kind of Russian kind of sense. And
you describe it as melancholy, would you?
Melancholy, not kind of like being dark in a depressing way. It's more like cathartic, you know, relief through painful situations, you know. It's about positive things, after all.
Okay, well, in your lyrics you mention a lot about death and resurrection and love and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I've been watching too many horror movies when I was a kid, you know. Probably.
Really? Is it anything to do with your ancestry, because you're Hungarian ancestors?
No, actually, I don't know, you know. I've never met anybody from Hungary that would have been part of my family, because my grandma died a bit early, so she kept the secret within herself. Never really discussed about it really like extensively. So I don't know. It's just death is a strong word, love is a strong word, resurrection is a strong word for everybody. So it's nice to use strong language, and everybody, you know, all you need is love, as they said a couple of times before, and usually everybody has something to do with that feeling or emotion. Everybody perceives it in entirely different ways, so in that sense it's a lot more, it's like open for interpretation, you know, in those senses. So, well, it's all about money as well.
Okay, would you describe your sound as love metal? Because I've seen that your reviews of your music and you say...
When we started out, yeah, that's what we called it, because of course everybody wanted to put us in a certain category. We wanted the record shops to put their own category there, being love metal, and we being the only artist in there. So basically we're just striving for uniqueness in the same way, for example, the bands like the Sisters or U2 or Metallica, what they've been doing. Nobody discusses about what kind of music Metallica does, or Sisters of Mercy. They're doing Sisters of Mercy music and Metallica music and U2 music and whatever, so that would be a nice thing in the future.
So what are you going to be doing on Halloween?
Traveling, unfortunately. We bought a couple of like inflatable, you know, ghosts and vampires and stuff like that, so probably we're going to be on our tour bus. So we're going to have our little party there.
Okay, let me ask you about Wicked Game. You told me last time you did a lot of research for that particular video.
Actually, we didn't so much. We kind of were searching for places in Amsterdam, but it seemed to be a bit too hardcore, even for us. You know, all those live population parties and stuff like that. It was a bit too hardcore for us. So we ended up being in here, shooting in London. Bill, the director, checked out loads of clubs here. So
you're all too chicken? You're all too chicken?
No, not really. We're just thinking that there's no worth of putting loads of money into a video that nobody's going to show. So we didn't. Probably, you know, when we're big enough, then we're going to do that really adult version of the same subject, hopefully.
Okay, so are you big fans of Chris Isaac?
Basically, I'm a huge fan of that one particular song. I used to be a huge fan of David Lynch, and when I saw Wild at Heart, it was the kind of like a theme to the movie. I fell in love with it and bought the soundtrack, and then we just tried it out, and it worked perfectly. So, you know, I've heard actually that Chris Isaac hates hard rock, and he's heard the version, but I don't know what he thinks of it. Probably hates it.
Okay,
we didn't mean it bad by doing it anyway, you know. We're not considering it to be a rape. It's a tribute in a good sense.
Okay, didn't you say something like it was, you saw it as Gone with the Wind, Lemmy embracing Madonna in the sunset?
Oh my god.
You said
that?
that?
I really said that. No, no.
That was you?
Yeah, I probably did, yeah. I'm saying loads of different things all the time. I'm good in line. Could be something like that, you know. Lemmy and Madonna on my car. Well, yeah, sounds quite true.
Is it true you got arrested in Amsterdam?
No, not arrested. I was searching for those places with the lovely director Bill, and one thing led to another, and we ended up partying the whole night. And we came back to the hotel. I ordered myself some kind of chicken vindaloo toast or whatever from the reception. I went upstairs, unfortunately passed out. The next thing was that I was just wearing my underwear, having my hands and my feet in cuffs, and I was surrounded by paramedics, cops, and people who used to be working or were working in the hotel. And they checked out my pulse and checked out everything. I was wondering what the fuck's going on, and actually they didn't tell me, but I guess that's probably that there's been so many tourists taking really shitty drugs or whatever, and the great SAS hotel don't want anything like that happening in their lovely premises. So they really broke down the door, and when I explained the situation that I wasn't on Charlie, I was on Jack Daniels, they were kind enough to leave. And before they shut the door, the manager of the hotel came in and said the great last words: "Would you mind, sir, if we would warm up your toast again?" And after that kind of stressful situation, tried to be as polite as possible and said that no thank you, I just want to get some sleep. Nothing more dramatic than that.
When you worked in your dad's sex shop, what was the strangest customer or strangest request you've ever had? I mean, what was it like working there?
Well, people brought loads of like really rude and cruel videos in there for exchange, stuff like that, really hard SM, with girls being beat up, like really beat up, and that wasn't really nice. Those were the people I drew up from there. But it's a personal thing for loads of people. I can't really judge what is kinky and what is not. Everybody's got their own fetishes, whatever.
Do you have any? Any fetishes?
There's loads of course. It's important to have loads of those things. People can find out those stuff themselves.
You're not going to tell me?
No. They're too cruel, But people do within the band call me the Sadia of the 21st century, so I can tell you something.
Okay, we're not going to go there.
Alright.
Okay.
That's all that way.
Well, did working in your dad's sex shop influence the way you look or your sound or anything like that?
Hopefully not, But I didn't practice, singing by putting like large anal intruders into my holes in any sense or anything like that. So, of course, everything affects. It was an interesting job, in a way, but rather boring. Because usually it's not so interesting, the people are not so interesting who come in or whatever. It's a psychological thing, it's just a salesman job, especially when the subject is kind of like hard for those people. You have to be really delicate in what you're saying and how you're selling those funny products, So basically, loads of people just came in there just boring videos and boring magazines and stuff like that. So.
You and the band have tattoos and piercings and things like that. Are any of your tattoos mean anything to you? Are they special in any way?
They're body art. They're just nice pictures. And never been into religion or never been into politics or anything like that, so they don't represent anything like that to me, like a way of life or whatever, their lifestyle. It's pretty pictures, pretty ornaments,
And what do you think of metal at the moment? I mean, people call you love metal or gothic or whatever. What do you think of bands like Disturbed or Slipknot, all these kind of shock, kind of horror tactics and looking kind of strange?
Well, it's strange now that the people, like, before they learn how to play their instruments and before they learn how to write a good tune, they prefer learning how to put makeup on themselves, or they are too afraid to show their faces and want to wear, like, silly masks or whatever. We're not about masks ourselves, Well, it's what we are, and that's the nicest part of being in a band called Him.
What does him stand for? Does it stand for anything? Him? Is it His Infernal Majesty?
No, well, it used to be His Infernal Majesty. Yeah, we had a band with the bass player, and we nicked that name of from a horror movie in the 60s, in the same way as what Black Sabbath did, because we were huge fans and still are. And but that was totally a different band. And we got the drummer and keyboard player and the guitar player along, and it changed the sound and everything, and we just shortened the name up because we had a bit of a name in the club scene in Finland, in Helsinki, so it was easier that way. And anyway, it's an easy word to remember. And there used to be a great gay porno magazine, actually English one, called Him in the 70s. And nowadays there's kind of like shop that makes wedding costumes for transvestites in Germany, which is called Him as well. So it has its links to the world of kinkiness as well.
Talking about Black Sabbath, didn't they record their debut album at Rockfield Studios, where you recorded?
I'm not actually sure where they recorded. Yeah, that's something that at least one of the early albums was recorded in at Rockfield. But but they were rehearsing before the last tour, which they did with the original lineup. They were rehearsing at Rockfield, and it was great to know that I was singing in the same vocal booth as that Ozzy had been doing his thing there just like a month ago or whatever. It was beautiful in that sense. There's ghosts around. Really spiritual place. So many good records being on there.
So what other musical influences do you have? Does Black Sabbath, any other?
Basically, whatever we're listening to at the moment, that of course that affects how things sound. Our bass player is listening to All Saints all the time now, so probably, beautiful songs, Pure Shores and Black Coffee, they're beautiful. So it's all about the song, it's about the melody, it's about the rhythm, it's not about the artist that much. I tend to like loads of things.
Join Me was the biggest selling Finnish single of all time, apparently. How do you feel about that? And how do you feel you are thought of in England?
We're not patriots, so I don't really care about us being a Finnish band. We're just a band. And I don't consider us being Finnish that it would be an exotic thing or whatever. I don't really speculating on that at all. It's nice that things been going on really well, but it could be ending next month. You never know.
How do you feel about having a really sexy After Dark website like Him online?
Well, I've been looking for cheap or actually free pages on the web where I can see some CDs and stuff like that. So that's a beautiful way. You're actually serving me. They're terribly expensive usually, the sites, with all the good shit around.
Providing a service.
Yes. Hopefully to loads of other people as well. Why? Well, how could you not say that he's funny when he showed his peen in a German magazine about Pecker, in a German magazine, a peeing one. He was pissing all over the place. Actually, in my boots, in that picture, that about 1.5 million Germans saw it. So in that sense, it's quite funny.
Is it worth seeing?
Sorry?
Is it worth seeing?
Well, it depends. He does, at least,
Okay, so when you record your new material, what will inspire you? Do you sit in the studio and improvise? Or?
No. That's for wankers. Say that every good band there's ever been, the pre-production stage is really important, that you rehearse the songs, you really spend time with them before you go into the studio. Studios are terribly expensive, usually terribly clinical places. They're a bit cold, and it's not nice to spend time there. It's just the old in and out trick as quickly as possible, for us at least.
So do you write things that come naturally to you? Do you just sit down and work?
I just buy classic albums from Rolling Stones and play them backwards and steal from there.
Until you hear the devil's voice.
Until I do that, yeah. But it's always a bit different. At times it's work, and at times it's not. You know, it's usually you get the ideas, and then you just. Sometimes it might be like, for example, with the song "Join Me." I wrote it in '97 or whatever, and it took about 2 years to arrange it. So it's always a totally different kind of process. A bit of time. But now it's been going on really easy with the new tracks, you know. Hopefully it means that we're getting better, rather than we're just getting lazy not to really have the power to work on the songs anymore.
No.
We shall see. It's sounding good anyway.
Have you got a name for the album?
Oh yeah, sure, but I'm not going to tell it. Yeah, of course it's going to come out, you know, hopefully next year, hopefully next spring. That's what we're aiming at, but we don't want anybody to steal the album title. It's going to be quite funny. Because it's not recorded yet, you never know. You have to leave some space for improvisation in the studio, a little at least. So it's going to be different, but hopefully it's going to be a bit more adult. Of course, we're growing up and you know, getting older, wiser, hopefully, and that's going to affect the lyrics and the songs in general. You know.
You're not going to get boring. Wear slippers and things.
It's people's decision to really